teacher retention and how we can draw teachers in, or recruitment, retention and recruitment are a big element for education, and it's also one of our objectives in our syllabus. One of the big things that we see are two different tracks: traditional and alternative, or alternate route certification. Traditional is you come to college, you learn theory, you learn foundations, and then you enter the classroom under student teaching. Once you complete student teaching, then you are a full-time certified teacher. Alternate route is more for people who have an undergrad degree but did not enter teaching. They enter it, get a certification, and then go straight into the classrooms. There's been criticisms of both. Many people say that traditional is very theory-based and not enough time in the classroom. And on the other hand, alternate route is great, but not enough time in the classroom. So a third program emerged in the 1960s called teacher residency. I'm going to show you a brief video on teacher residency so that we can discuss this article.
After college, I kind of was at a turn. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. I did know, for the most part, I wanted to help people. Flash forward and seeing the president of MTR talk about statistics of Black and brown children, how the quality of education that one receives is based on one zip code. At that moment, I just got a quick flashback in terms of my mom taking me from urban schools to suburban schools because she wanted me to get a great education. And I see students based on where they live don't always have those same opportunities just to get up and just move somewhere to get a good education. We as a society is not equal until education continues to be reformed towards a better equity for everyone and not just some people. One way for me to practically love my neighbor in the best way possible and the best vehicle for my strengths was equal education, and MTR was that place for me to do that.
So let's go through this article. It says that recruitment and retention challenges are once again leading to teacher shortages across the nation. And I highlighted right here. Similarly, teachers who do not receive mentoring and support in their first years leave teaching at much higher rates than those whose schools or districts provide such support. Mentoring has always been a big issue of education. We don't really know how to properly mentor teachers, and that's becoming a big issue. So a lot of new teachers are left kind of just there and surviving. One combat for this is the newly emerging teacher residency programs. So look at this, the design of teacher residency programs. It's an alternative pathway to teacher certification. Residents apprentice alongside an expert teacher in a high-need classroom for a full academic year. So you will be in the school for a whole year instead of just 6 months. It is closely linked with coursework from a university nearby that's partnering them. So, for example, you would teach at Starkville High School, and you would mentor and observe and help out with the teacher multiple days a week for an entire year while also doing coursework at a university. This is sometimes this allows for a master's degree, and most of the times, generally all the times, you'll receive a living stipend, a place to live, and a tuition support. Sometimes tuition will be paid completely, but the one catch is you have to commit to teaching in the district that you're working with for several years beyond residency. So obviously a quid pro quo, or this for that, where you have to be in the school for 1 year. The school district will give you a mentor, a teacher who will help you. A local college will give you free master's degree or undergrad degree. They'll work with you, but they'll also receive money from a local organization or federal government that will also help with that as well, while you commit to working for 3 years. This fosters, of course, a tight partnership between local school district, the teacher prep programs, the teacher themselves, and everyone else involved, and usually a stakeholder who has a large amount of money. This has grown over 15 years. Programs that typically place candidates in schools for a full year of student teaching internship. I'm going to show you, so even though federal aid has dwindled, the federal government does not support teacher residency programs much, but a large foundations have jumped in there. So I'm going to show you one more video.
Alright, so we have our desk cleared. I want you to make sure you have your morning work binder out.
In partnership with Southeastern Louisiana University, St. Tammany Parish Public Schools is participating in a year-long teacher candidate teacher residency program.
It's a year-long residency program where students who are interested in becoming teachers are spending a year in our school system with mentor teachers where they are experiencing all aspects of becoming a classroom teacher.
Before this pilot program, student teaching was a one-semester experience.
And then multiplied by 9.
Now, some student teachers are in the classroom for the full year.
There's just more experience. We're going to be able to see everything in the beginning of the year, everything at the end of the year, instead of just one or the other. I'll have the full year experience and I'll be better prepared.
I have learned so much about what it's really like to be a teacher and how a school day really goes.
I like to say it's really where the rubber meets the road. And what I mean by that is that the student teachers, they are planning with their mentor teachers, they are getting to know their students, they are seeing a classroom from the first day of school to the last day of school.
The extended class time is going to help me because I'm basically already their teacher. I'm like their second teacher is what they say, so I know exactly what's expected and what I'm going to have to do to be a great teacher.
The best part about this experience is having a wonderful support system. I have my site coordinator at Southeastern, my mentor teacher, my principal here at my site school, and everyone is working to make us the best we can be.
Anytime that you have the university, which is the preparation part of the program, and then you actually have the school system part where you get the hands-on experience and you marry the two of them, then that's going to be an ultimate experience for our student teachers.
And this teacher residency program is designed to give these teacher candidates the skills and experiences necessary to become effective teachers.
So we have been talking about expressions today.
Teachers who positively impact student learning.
The bottom line for our program is really to increase the achievement for children in Louisiana. And so we're partnering with the school district so that we can provide these high quality teachers that are first year ready. When they leave our program, they have had the experience of a first year teacher. And so we want them to go out and be able to really affect student achievement in the classroom.
Okay, boys and girls, we're going to close our lesson with an exit card. So I need 2 volunteers to pass them out for us.
Melody Menard, Channel 13.
Continuing on our discussion, district-university partnerships. Residents are recruited to work for the partner district or the charter management, if they're using charter schools, and fulfill its hiring needs. So the district school district actually has an internal motivation of covering some areas that they need certified teachers in. So therefore, if you're going to do a residency program, you're probably not going to see it in social studies because there's a abundance of social studies teachers. You're probably going to see it in math, science, physics, areas such as that. Residents commit to teaching in a local school district after the program ends. High quality residency programs are co-designed by the district and the university to ensure that residents get to know the students and families in the communities. So let's talk about candidate recruitment and selection. They really aim to broaden and diversify the local teacher workforce. This means minorities, as well as veterans and people who they don't have enough of. 4 to 5 days a week in the classroom, 900 hours of pre-service clinical preparation. So you're going to get double or 2 times the amount of hours. Coursework, One study found that residencies across 30 complete residency areas had an average of 10 college courses for their master's degree. So that's about normal. The mentoring. The process for the mentors typically is rigorous because sometimes with some programs the mentors receive a financial stipend. Cohorts. This is another thing. A lot of times they're going to do a cohort. A cohort is whenever you start the program with a group of people, a group of teacher residents, and they progress through the program together. This is good for unity of the students and a cohesion. It is also good because the supporting university will have a set amount of students taking the courses. This idea of professional development schools or PDS or partner schools. So you're creating a partnership between the university and the local school district where students are going to go there. Studies of highly developed partnerships have found that new teachers who graduate from such programs feel better prepared to teach and are rated by employers, supervisors, and researchers as stronger than other new teachers. Also, the programs will do well if they have an early career mentoring and support for the first 3 years. So once they end the residency program and they're certified teachers, it really helps if they also have a mentoring program there with them. This is an area that I would see that they may not do well with because once the teachers graduate, then they sign the contract for 3 years, and then some schools may just say, okay, welcome, now you're a paid employee, and they don't mentor them, and that's going to hurt the program. Financial support and incentives. They offer financial incentives to attract and retain high-quality candidates. Living stipends, tuition, remittance, or also just paying for the student loans. Typically, if they have to agree to a 3 to 5 year commitment. This is usually done with support from a private organization. There are 50 teacher residency programs nationwide, and retention is very promising. Look at this right here with recruitment. Residencies bring greater gender and racial diversity into the teaching workforce. 45% of residence teachers were of color, compared to 19% that are just traditional. So whenever you have all of these financial incentives, you're going to receive a bigger application pool, and this is going to allow you to pick a diverse population. Now, once again, the partnership school has issues because it doesn't have enough diversity. It doesn't have enough males in the elementary education positions. It doesn't have enough minorities in the secondary education field. And it doesn't have enough veterans. So by offering these financial incentives and getting a broader application pool, they can get the application pool that's diverse. 45% of residency graduates taught in high-need subject area: math, science, tech, bilingual, and special education. National studies indicate that 20 to 30%, as well as often up to 50% of new teachers quit within the first 5 years. With teacher residency programs, only 10% quit within the first 5 years. So they have an 80 to 90% retention rate. So the teachers will stay longer. And then it goes into a conclusion. Let me show you a video now.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. When I first started and I made this choice, I was hoping that I would fall in love with this. I didn't know. I was never in a classroom. We're getting ready to go to college. Yeah. This was, I honestly want to say, like the greatest decision of my life.
The teaching residency, it has helped me so much. I feel like I strongly came out of there ready to work.
I think the residency is a massive training / get to know yourself and grow as a teacher program.
The teaching residency was born out of a lot of needs. First of all, EHTP believes strongly in affecting educational outcomes in East Harlem, and We've done that through our after-school programs, through our public charter schools. We knew that in order to really affect educational outcomes in East Harlem, we needed to get great teachers, and great teachers who were committed to our community. So that's sort of how the residency was born.
High level, the program is meant to turn people who have known nothing about teaching, they expect you to know nothing about teaching, into teachers. So that's why it's so intensive, and that's why it's so focused what it does.
Learn for 14 straight months, and then, you get your certification by the end of it.
When I was looking at the residency site, I could not believe the things they were promising. After living through it, it just blows my mind that programs like this exist.
I really wanted a year of training and growth, and immediately as soon as I saw that this is like a very support-based and like training-based program, it just immediately, I was attracted to it.
Residents are working on a master's in elementary education, a certification in elementary education. They are teachers of record in our elementary after-school program. In the after-school, they get to sort of create their own classrooms. So they watch what their mentor teachers are doing during the school day, and then they almost have a lab class in our after-schools where they get to try it on their own. They're learning what it means to be a teacher in East Harlem and just what we think best practices are.
Constant professional development and coaching.
As a mentor teacher, basically you're their support. So they start off with just observing, they work one-on-one with a scholar, and then from there, as you see them grow, you start to give them more opportunities to get better.
I feel really blessed that they hired these people along with me because they were so supportive, they were so nice. They were some of the best people I could ever hope to have worked with. I feel really blessed. We just gelled so nicely, and we just hung out, and just like the overwhelming positivity and gratitude I felt from them was just unlike anything I ever felt before, really. Our classes are generally only the cohort, very intimate. The professors know why you're there. They know a little bit about the program, so it's just a great experience. Like this year was like the best year of classes I've ever taken. It really affirmed my conviction that this is what I want to do, and this is where I see myself for the rest of my career.
And it definitely taught me everything that I know about teaching, all because of the support system that I had here. So there was just so many things that helped me feel successful in the residency program.
This was the only program that spoke to me on a philosophical level, that made me feel like I would be a teacher that I would be proud of, and that really delivered on all the promises that it made. So that's where I stand, and that's what I would say to any prospective teacher and just anyone who's willing to take a risk to chase their passion in life.
If you're someone that's passionate about growing yourself as a teacher, 100% I would say, look no further. This is a place you should be because you will see that growth. And I personally think it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yay! Yay!
All right, so teacher residency programs are a great way to bring in new applicants to the teaching field. It gives them financial incentives, and it also allows a partnership school who is struggling to gain the teachers that they need, such as science teachers and math teachers. So, of course, everyone wins in this. The downside, of course, is it's going to cost a lot of money, so you're going to need a private organization to help sponsor, unless the government wants to sponsor, but I don't know. So let's look at this. MDE to prepare Mississippi Department of Education educators through a teacher residency and performance-based licensure pilot programs. This was just released. Jackson, Mississippi, the MDE is launching an incentive to increase the number of qualified teachers entering remaining in the profession through teacher residency and performance-based licensure programs. Ta-da. Okay. The project is funded by a $4.1 million grant from the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. So there's our private donation from an organization, $4.1 million, to address the achievement gaps in high poverty, high minority schools, and schools that lack a diverse teaching staff. Just like I taught you, that's what they're shooting for. They're going to shoot for diversity and in critical needs areas. Here's a quote from the superintendent. Now let's get down here. The grant will fund the Mississippi Teacher Residency Program, MTR, which is a partnership among MDE, Jackson Public, and here's our partnership schools: Jackson Public, Sunflower County, Biloxi, and Ocean Springs. The program will recruit 35, and here's what they're wanting: diverse teacher candidates. And so now we know. Here's our partnership schools, these 4. Here's how many we're shooting for, 35. And it's going to pay undergraduate tuition. So it's not going to be a master's program. All right. And it'll place them in the classroom of a highly skilled or nationally board certified teacher mentor for 2 years. Okay. So this is interesting. Candidates will be required to teach in Jackson, Sunflower, Biloxi, or Ocean Springs for 3 years. So they're going to have to sign a 3-year contract for after they graduate. So they're going to be partnership with the school for 2 years working on their degree, and then another 3 after that. So they'll be in the schools for 5 years. The teacher candidates will be AmeriCorps members and receive full tuition to complete their undergraduate studies. So they get full tuition. And mentor teachers will receive a $5,000 annual stipend. So the mentor teachers will be there for 2 years, but it doesn't say anything about mentoring post-graduation. And we saw in the article that was big. So already we have 1 strike against this program. Nothing against the program, but we already have 1 strike. That they're not going to keep the mentors or reward the mentors after that. Now, of course, I see what the university is doing, and I see what the schools are doing. And that is, by giving them a mentor for 2 years while they're working on their degree, they're hoping that the mentor will just kind of stay the mentor after the first 3 years. So I'm interested in seeing the retention rate with no mentor in the first 3 years after. So you're getting a mentor while you're there for 2 years, while you're working on your degree. The W.K. Kellogg grant will also fund, and here's the second thing they're going to do, a performance-based teacher license pilot program, which will help a select group of teachers with provisional license become fully licensed. The program is aimed at teachers who have proven to be effective in the classroom but are struggling to pass licensure exams. Teachers in the performance-based licensure program also make a 3-year commitment to remain teaching in their respective districts. So that's kind of like a little extra caveat they're doing. So what does that mean? It's going to be a separate licensure program for people who are emergency or good citizenship licensed. They are teaching, for example, biology at Jackson Public, but they don't have a biology degree. They have another degree. So they're like, okay, we're going to get a performance-based licensure program, which is where a university will come in, observe them for a while, and they don't have to pass praxis. So they're really doing this in an attempt to solve the emergency certification program, also to get them some teacher residencies, and then to build up their teaching corps. So that's how this works. If we look at the application for this program, they're accepting applications now. We have first, last name, but look at this. We have ethnicity. We have race, level of education, community college attended. As you scroll down here, degree program grade point average, ACT score, praxis test, military service obligation, which school district you would be interested in teaching, documentation. All right, suppose that. So they're asking for diversity in some of these questions. So that'll be a good thing. I'm surprised they're not asking what area you want to teach, like what certification area, which is fine. They're all after the application pool is once this is done, it'll go to a interview and selection process. So this is an example of one of Mississippi's first teacher residency program ever. So I just wanted to show you this and give you an idea of teacher residency before you just some kind of idea for you to think about. So this is another way we're trying to get certified teachers in Mississippi and nationwide. Thank you for listening.